It is 5:30 and a very good morning to you, Tennessee Valley, and welcome to this Friday edition of Eyewitness News Sunrise. Coming up, some of the stories we're following. Parents in Etowah, Tennessee are upset this morning around who is working near their kids. The city uses nonviolent inmates to help clean up their schools. And if you owe a fine in Hamilton County, you better pay up. The collecting office gets more manpower to get folks to fork over the dough. With a look at the weather, here's David. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning, Jed, and good morning, everyone. A terrific weekend is shaping up for the Tennessee Valley, and I'll tell you all about it coming up in my 5-day forecast.
All right, Dave, it's great seeing you. And in East Ridge, Tennessee, they get a new city manager. We'll update you on that story. Hey, thanks so much for joining us this morning. It is 5:30. Eyewitness News Sunrise is next.
From Channel 3, coverage you can count on. This is Eyewitness News Sunrise.
It is 5:31 and a very good morning and welcome to this edition of Eyewitness News Sunrise. Hope it's going to be a terrific weekend. If you're just tuning in, here are some of the stories we're following on this Friday morning. In Etowah, Tennessee, parents are worried. Yeah, they're worried that free labor from the county jail could cost them. Some inmates are being used as janitors on school grounds. A father is accused of shooting his son in the back. He is recovering this morning. The father is in jail. And East Ridge gets a new city manager. And in national news, NASA has a new eye on Mars. The global surveyor sets its eyes on the red planet. We got a lot to talk about this Friday morning. Hope it's going to be a good one for you. Here's David with a look at the forecast. Dave?
Looks good, Jed. A lot of nice weather coming up, not only for today, but also for the weekend ahead.
Perfect.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the current temperatures outside. And this morning with clear skies and not as much fog, temperatures are in the 50s and 60s. Of course, the 50s being more in the outlying areas, a lot of the valley locations. 56 is the coolest number down in Fort Payne, Alabama. Some 57s from Dayton all the way to Murphy. 60 here in the city and 62 in Dalton. It is smooth sailing when you got high pressure in control. There's a high centered right over Illinois that has cleared our skies and also dried out the atmosphere. So we're not seeing quite as much fog. At least it's not as widespread as what it was yesterday morning. Maybe a little patchy dense fog, but not as much to slow you down. And with the clear skies, we're going to see a lot of sunshine. Here's your 5-day forecast, and you'll see a high for today around 82. And for the next several days, highs are going to be in the mid-80s for the weekend with sunshine. Maybe a few afternoon showers coming back for Monday and Tuesday. Not all-day rains, and I really don't think the best chance is going to come until Tuesday. So really nice weather coming up for the next 5 days. Morning lows also down in the 50s.
All right, Dave. Great seeing you. Hey, tickets are really going fast for tomorrow's Mox games. I hear that.
Nice 12:30 afternoon game. Looks good.
Perfect. Thanks, Dave. Yeah. Topping the news this morning, the Etowah, Tennessee City School System gets some free labor to help keep up their schools. Well, some parents don't like it because the helpers are nonviolent convicted felons from the county jail. They do everything from cleaning the bathrooms to building new classrooms. But some parents this morning worry the free labor could cost them. Channel 3's Ryan Owens has this story.
A lot of the rooms have been painted, as you can see back through there.
Principal Alice Fouts is a proud tour guide through the halls of her school. It's more than 20 years old. That's 2 decades of student wear and tear that the principal says has almost been reversed by a few months of prison labor.
They have saved us many hundreds of dollars by doing this, dollars we didn't have.
A new paint job isn't all. Just look outside.
The guys have been, you know, doing the digging here, the building of the decks and so forth.
2 portable buildings with 4 new classrooms.
We were in the library the first week of school, on the floor, stretched out, things everywhere, and we wouldn't have a place to be right now if it weren't for them.
Most parents are happy with the inmates' work, but some don't understand why they're allowed to leave the jailhouse for the schoolhouse while the kids are in class.
Let's have them do it away from the children, just be on the safe side.
Tim Barker and his wife came to this school meeting to convince administrators to allow prisoners on campus only after students are gone. But the principal says the nonviolent offenders are a big help to the school's maintenance staff of 2.
We have tried to get the parents involved, the community, and I really feel like if we had more help from the community, we wouldn't have had to resort to this.
Parents say schools shouldn't resort to anything that could endanger students.
I just don't want any harm to come to my child or to any other child. I don't want to have to be talking to WRCB TV concerning a child that was possibly harmed in some way.
Those parents did not get very far with their arguments last night. School leaders told parents that they would have to make an appointment with the superintendent to get the prisoner policy changed. A father is in jail this morning charged with shooting his son. It happened last night on Whitwell Mountain about 8 o'clock. Police say Harvey Nolan shot his son in the back. Officers believe they were arguing but have not said what the argument was about. 26-year-old Harvey Nolan Jr. was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. His condition is not known this morning. The father, by the way, is charged with aggravated assault. A jury decided the fate of accused murderer Stanley Mills. A jury found Mills guilty of second-degree murder for the killing of Keith Hood. Police found Hood's body last May inside his car with the motor still running outside of Garber Elementary School. Mills was 17 at the time, but is now being tried as an adult. Mills could get up to 25 years in prison. People owing the county money for speeding tickets, court costs, and fines, you better pay up soon. The Delinquent Collection Division has recently hired more people. They are determined to collect unpaid fines all over Hamilton County. Nearly 1,000 letters go out to delinquents every month, and the department pulls in $20,000 to $40,000 every 30 days. It's a wealth of money just there for the taking.
It wouldn't surprise me if it were 15 million. It wouldn't surprise me if it were, 5 million. It's hard to tell. Our computer records only go back until the mid-'80s.
The hiring of former Red Bank Police Chief Ronnie Dodge should speed things up a bit. His police and computer background are expected to be extremely helpful to the collections department. Meanwhile, East Ridge finally gets a new city manager. The appointment of Jim Monroe came as a surprise to some council members because the issue wasn't even on the agenda. But others say he's just what the city needs. East Ridge has been without a permanent city manager since Mike Nettles was fired earlier this year. A state audit revealed several problems with the city's finances. But Monroe plans to put all the controversy behind him. He says he'll run things differently.
Nobody's going to be privy to any information that anybody else is not. I don't know what all has gone on specifically. I just know how I operate. Each council member will receive the same information.
Monroe reports to work in just a few hours. His contract has not been written yet, but it will reportedly be for 1 year at about $60,000 and then renegotiated after that. In health news, a new study finds residents living near Chattanooga Creek worry more about getting sick than actually have a health problem. The Tennessee Department of Health conducted the study. It found that people living near the polluted waterway worry about getting sick from the creek. But the study finds their fears unfounded, saying the serious disease rate near the creek is the same as the rest of the city. The creek drew national attention. It was declared as one of the most polluted waterways in the country. A Pittsburgh company is cleaning up the creek. That project may not be finished until early next year. In business news, people insured by State Farm in Tennessee will find a little surprise in their mailbox. How about a check from State Farm? State Farm says the cost of insuring motorists in Tennessee dropped below their projections last year, so they're passing the savings back to policyholders. From now until November, State Farm will issue the checks, which will average about $10 per person. Now, a quick check on what's happening in the world of sports on this Friday morning. Last night, a new coach for Vanderbilt still did not get them a win against Alabama. The 15th-ranked Crimson Tide beat Vanderbilt 20-0 last night in Nashville. Bama now has 13 straight wins over the Commodores. In high school football action, a rules misinterpretation has led to a forfeit of last week's Marion County High School victory over Meigs County. Marion County High School principal Johnny Grimes says the school administration thought a special teams player could play when they re-examined the rules last week. But they used misinformation about the rule, and now the Warriors are 0-2 for the 97 year. And attorneys for Pete Rose have talked with attorneys for Major League Baseball about possibly reinstating Rose after this season. That would make Rose eligible for baseball's Hall of Fame. Rose spent 24 years in the majors, but was banned from baseball for life in 1989 following an investigation into his gambling habits. No agreement was met. Glad to have you watching. It's 5:40 on this Friday edition of Eyewitness News Sunrise. With the forecast, here's Dave. Whew, not to read,
I know,
man.
I was going to say, boy, it's been like, what, 4:39, and you're just coming down to the weather? No, it looks good for the next several days. I can take up the slack saying that not going to be a whole lot of weather to talk about for the next 24 hours or the weekend as well.
Good. We got a soccer game tomorrow morning. The Roadrunners.
Good. Looks really, really good. Hey, Roadrunners playing who?
I think the Kablams.
Okay.
Buddy, I don't know.
It's
I don't know
soccer.
anything
Soccer's
about
got the
soccer.
most interesting team names. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and take a look at the weather planner for today, and we are talking about a good deal of sunshine. A little patchy dense fog this morning, not as widespread as the past several mornings. 74 by noon, 82 by the afternoon rush hour. Coming up next, we'll tell you about the forecast for the next 5 days. So we'll actually tell you tonight's forecast for all the Friday night football games and for the weekend ahead. That's all next as Eyewitness News Sunrise continues.
Coverage you can count on. Eyewitness News Sunrise. You're watching Jed Mescott, Kirsten Gum, and meteorologist David Glenn. This is Eyewitness News Sunrise.
It is 5:43, and I should say that Kirsten has the day off, but David is here with, hey, no problems in the weather.
No problems at all. In fact, we have nice weather for today, Saturday, and Sunday. It looks terrific. One place that has not seen the nice weather is the Pacific Northwest. They had a lot of hot weather earlier on this week, but now they've cooled down because of rain and a lot of it. Take a look at this weather video coming to us out of Seattle, and they had so much rain where they had mudslide problems. That's right. Occupants of 14 homes couldn't drive home late last night. That's because a huge mudslide buried a private road, cut off traffic, and one unoccupied home was severely damaged.
Wow.
So we can talk about earthquakes and tornadoes. When it comes to mudslides, those are really just creep up on you there and just destroy a home. That coming to us out of Seattle, Washington. Right now in Chattanooga, all is clear. We have clear skies right now. No rain, no mudslides, nothing to worry about there. Temperatures have cooled down, though, a lot cooler than yesterday morning. Lots of 50s showing up in the outlying areas. 57 at Dayton, Athens, and Murphy. The cool spot this morning is to our south, along I-59 down in Fort Payne. They're at 56. 60 at Rome, also here in the city, and 62 in Dalton. Checking the numbers around the region this morning, an average of 50s and 60s. The coolest numbers are always out to our east over the mountains near Asheville, North Carolina. Well, some upper 50s also showing up at Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Alabama, and the coolest of numbers is up over the Ohio Valley, 52 in Indianapolis and 58 in Louisville. Checking the regional satellite, you'll notice skies finally clearing off yesterday. As expected, we did have a couple of scattered showers bubble up over the Blue Ridge Mountains. That's because the air, as it flows over the mountains, is lifted a little bit, and with the moisture still there, it created a couple of showers. But they have since faded on out. The clouds have faded out as well as the atmosphere is beginning to dry out. So we will see more sunshine today. Very little, if any, chance of showers building up over the mountains, but indeed, that is still entirely possible. High pressure is building in out of parts of the Ohio Valley and the upper Mississippi Valley, so it is drying us out. So therefore, we're going to see a lot of sunshine today. All the rain is going to be to our south and east, from South Florida all the way up the eastern seaboard. Well, all that rain is finally exiting the east. They had a lot of problems with flooding. Some localized flash flooding in parts of Pennsylvania, 1 to 3 inches of rain up there. But now the rain has ended up there. Just some light sprinkles left over. Some scattered thunderstorms off the coast of Georgia and South Carolina, and another trough. And bringing in some thunderstorms out across the plain states, but none of that is going to be affecting us. We have this big bubble of high pressure, which is actually going to settle in through tomorrow morning, holding back any showers trying to move in from the west. So we're going to see a lot of sunshine, relatively low humidity. It's not going to be quite as low as last weekend, but I do think the humidity may creep back in here for Sunday and Monday as a high moves to the southeast and our winds turn back to the south. But nonetheless, a terrific weekend coming up. High temperatures for today, and for that matter, the next several days will be in the low 80s, maybe rising to the mid 80s by tomorrow, and nighttime lows tonight will be dropping down into the 50s. So a comfortable night, great, perfect night for Friday night football games. Probably by game time, temperatures will be in the low 70s and then drop through the 60s, but very, very comfortable. Your forecast for today looking like this: partly sunny to sunny skies, highs around 82 with a light northerly wind. For tonight, clear skies, 57 for the overnight low, and tomorrow to kick off the weekend looks sunny and warmer, highs around 85. Here's the rest of your 5-day forecast. And for Sunday, partly sunny skies, highs around 84. Maybe a few afternoon showers Monday and Tuesday. Don't look for all-day washouts here. I really think the best chance will not come until Tuesday, with our high temperatures dropping back to the low 80s. But it looks really good in the next several days.
All right, buddy. Thanks very much. It's good news to hear. It is 5:46. Glad you're watching. And coming up next, as we continue this edition of Eyewitness News Sunrise, in international news, it's Mars Mission Part 2 for NASA. The global surveyor is up and running over the red planet. And more space news, a new report from NASA blasts the Mir space station. Stay with us as Eyewitness News Sunrise continues. Good Friday morning, everyone. It is 5:49. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, here's a look at some of the stories making headlines this morning. In Etowah, Tennessee, parents are worried that free labor from the county jail could cost them. Some inmates are being used as janitors on the school grounds. A father is accused of shooting his son in the back on Whitwell Mountain. He is recovering this morning. The father is in jail. And in East Ridge, they finally get a new city manager. In national news this morning, NASA scientists are all smiles over Mars mission number 2. Scientists were excited about the arrival of the Global Surveyor spacecraft around Mars. Surveyor completed the 435 million-mile journey to the red planet by firing its main rocket for 22 minutes Thursday night. Over the next 4 months, Surveyor will use the Martian atmosphere to show itself down and change into a circular orbit 234 miles above the surface. In March, Surveyor begins the 2-year task of mapping the entire planet. The Sojourner is still taking samples of the Earth's surface. Also in space, Russia says it's safe, but a new report from NASA shows the Mir space station is in need of a major overhaul. Russia's mission control was surprised to hear of a critical report by NASA detailing safety concerns about the space station. The report contained some complaints from Americans who worked on Mir. Shannon Lucen says it was harder to think and easier to make mistakes when faulty equipment raised carbon dioxide levels. And Jerry Lininger says there were too many system breakdowns and stinking garbage. British Prime Minister Tony Blair says it's a big victory for England and Scotland. Voters gave a big thumbs up to creating their own Scottish Parliament after 290 years of union with England. Queen Elizabeth would remain as the country's monarch, and the British Parliament would continue to rule on foreign affairs. But Scotland would assume responsibility for legislation on domestic affairs. The Scottish Parliament would open by the year 2000. And let's just hope that new Scottish Parliament doesn't take notes from the Mexican Congress, or does take notes, my mistake. The floor of the does not. The floor of the Mexican Congress turned into a boxing ring. Mexican lawmakers started punching each other during an address by the finance minister. The fight started when congressmen opposed to the Mexican president heckled the minister. The Speaker of the House ended the session when a member of her party joined in the fight. The session resumed 45 minutes later. Yeah, fun of politics. There's still lots more to come on Eyewitness News Sunrise. We'll have the top stories of the day, find out what's happening in traffic, and David Glynn's forecast right after this. It is 5:53. If you're just waking up, let's catch you up with some stories making news right here at home. A Hamilton County man on Tennessee's death row is appealing his sentence. Harold Wayne Nichols was sentenced to death for the 1988 rape and murder of Karen Pulley. Nichols says his former attorneys poorly defended him in his first trial. Yesterday, Nichols was not in court, but his new attorneys met with the prosecutors for a hearing. The defense claims it hasn't seen several pieces of important evidence belonging to the prosecution, but prosecutors say they are playing by the rules. More hearings are set for September the 30th. People owing the county money for speeding tickets, court costs, and fines better pay up soon. The Delinquent Collection Division of Hamilton County has recently hired more people, and they are determined to collect unpaid fines all over the county. Nearly 1,000 letters go out to delinquents every month, and the department pulls in $20,000 to $40,000 every 30 days. It's a wealth of money just there for the taking. One criminal court clerk says the computer records go back to the mid-1980s. East Ridge gets a new city manager. The appointment of Jim Monroe came as a surprise to some council members because the issue wasn't on the agenda, but others say he's just what the city needs. East Ridge has been without a permanent city manager since Mike Nettles was fired earlier this year. A state audit revealed several problems with the city's finances, but Monroe plans to put all the controversy behind him. He says he'll run things differently. And more on those stories in a moment, but first, Mike Deal, good morning, sir, with a quick look at traffic. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Jed. I'm doing fine, sir. Thank you so much for asking. Well, so far so good on the traffic. Nothing in your way this morning, and maybe we can have another day like that. You know, we pretty much got by unscathed yesterday morning. Let's try again today. To get the latest traffic updates as you head into work, though, stay tuned to WGOW AM and FM. And for Eyewitness News Sunrise, I'm Mike Deal.
Okay, Mike, thanks so much. We'll hear from you again at 6:25. And here's David Glenn with a look at the forecast. And we should say Jeffrey White will be here.
Yep.
He is our pharmacist, and he'll answer any of your health questions in just a few minutes. It's always a pleasure having him here. Dr. Jeffrey White.
He's here early this morning.
The Tennessee Pharmacist of the Year, by the way.
That's right. He did win that award.
So congratulations to him. Nice man. The weather?
Weather looks good for today and also for the weekend. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Partly sunny to sunny skies. We have temperatures in the upper 50s to low 60s this morning. You might need a light jacket this morning, but temperatures will be rising rapidly to the mid-70s by noon, 82 by the rush hour with sunshine. Looks great.
All right, get your calls ready for pharmacist Jeffrey White, and a little later on, technology for kids. How do you get your preschoolers prepared for the new technology? You know, with computers, some good information to pass along. We're glad you're watching. Eyewitness News Today is next.